Hi everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be filming my March TBR, so talking you through all the books that I hope to get to in the month of March. There's a big stack of them. As you may have noticed, we are already over a week into March, so I really can't get the timing of this video right. There's always like a little bit of a delay. I need to finish the month in order to talk about the previous books. I also need to talk about my TBR before the month begins. So maybe I film my TBRs before my wrap-ups in the future. We will see. Basically, why I'm telling you this is because I have already read one book this month. So in this TBR, I've kind of got like a collection of books that in an ideal world I would get to, but I'm not really sure how many of them I'll get to. There are a couple that I just want to finish off, so I will be mentioning those, but I'm not going to be talking about the book that I have read so far this month. You'll have to wait till my March wrap-up in order to see what that one was. So the first book I have to mention here is Lapvona by Ottessa moshfegh. I have been wanting to read this book ever since I received it. I got it for my birthday last year, which was in July. I've put it on a bunch of TBRs since then, and I finally decided to just bite the bullet and pick it up. I'm already 100 pages into this book, so I'm about a third of the way through, or just under that, and this is crazy. I'm not going to give up too much of my thoughts and feelings away just yet, but you will see in my wrap-up. There's a lot to say about this book. We're following Marek, son of a shepherd in a medieval fiefdom called Lapvona. The fiefdom is kind of overseen by a lord, and he kind of like conspires with the priest in order to kind of get the most out of the land, the most taxes and the most produce and whatever, in order to just be like living this luxurious wealthy life. Marek's life is very different. Him and his father Jude live very frugally, and they feel like there is kind of like a justice in their suffering. There's so much more to this book. Honestly, it's just kind of grotesque and shocking, but so well written, and I'm really excited to see as I go further into the read. But so far, I was gonna say so good, but it's not a good read. It's just like, well, it's a good read. It's not an enjoyable read, but it is a very well written one. So yeah, that's Lapvona. I'd love to get this finished, and I mean, I'll kick myself if I don't. So that's the first book on the TBR. Next up, we have a book that I'm really excited to get to, because basically I've been filming a series where I read all of Sally Rooney's books in publication order. So I've read Conversation with Friends, I've read Normal People, and that means I need to read Beautiful World, What Are You? So this is the only Sally Rooney book I haven't read. The last book that I read by her was Normal People, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So I'm really excited to see how I feel about Beautiful World. This copy was actually a gift. This is a gorgeous new edition. I think I first saw it in November of 2022, and ever since then I've just been in awe of it. So I can read it, film a dedicated one book focused reading vlog on this book, and then eventually go to rate or rank all of Sally Rooney's works. Beautiful World, don't know what's about really. I think we're following 4 people in their 20s, and it's about their relationships with one another, general like interactions with the world. The person who gave this to me has actually already read it, and she said that there are a lot of kind of like philosophical discussions within this book, but I'm excited to read it, and I'm hoping that I should be able to get through this one within the month. If I'm filming a reading vlog for it, then I kind of tend to put a bit of pressure on myself to read the book that I'm reading for it. It's the longest sentence. Right, next up we have a repeat from last month, which is a book I actually didn't get to in the end, but I do really want to read it, and I feel like Lapvona's been very heavy. Beautiful World is going to be very philosophical, and so the book I have planned to read is Addicted to You by Christa and Becca Ritchie. So this book, I said it's very light, but I mean it's light in terms of the fact that it's a romance. Is kind of heavy in the fact that we're following 2 people called Lily and Lo, and they both struggle with addiction to different things. Fake date to enable each other's addiction, but in doing so they realise that the real thing they're addicted to is each other. I know, so cute. So I still think this is going to be kind of a lot in terms of like seeing someone struggle with, or a couple of people struggle with addiction, but at the same time it's a romance. Typically the genre feels like a lot more kind of light-hearted to me. I'm excited to finally pick it up. I think I should probably get through this quite quickly. It should be quite readable because I've heard the writing in here is quite basic. I think this is going to be a bit of a breath of fresh air after having read those previous 2 books, because I'm thinking that is probably the order I'm going to read them in. Then next up we have a book that I've been reading for the longest time, Jane Birkin's Monkey Diaries. I did mention this in my previous book, in my previous video, which was the book haul. I'm loving every second of it, but I've only got 100 pages left, or fewer pages than that, just under that. So I think that I could probably get this done within the month, just through like me dropping into it every so often, which is kind of what I've been doing with it. So this is basically just Jane Birkin's diaries between these 2 years. You follow everything to do with her life, because of course it's just literally written diary. It's very raw and honest, and she's very vulnerable within it. I'm really enjoying reading about someone's life, not in terms of like their career and their achievements, but in terms of just their kind of everyday life, seeing them live as a normal person despite her being like this kind of A-list celebrity. But I really want to get this finished, because one of the other books that I really want to read within the month is Surrender 40 Songs One Story by Bono. So this is Bono's autobiography, and I feel like it's not a good idea to have two on the go. I feel like that might be a bit much. I just don't want to be reading this at the same time as reading this. I have the audiobook of Surrender, which is why I think I could get it done within a month, because it is a chunky boy otherwise. It's like 500 pages. Or over that. This has to happen. But I think I've got a good chance of making it happen. Like I said, Bono's autobiography. Bono's the lead singer in U2. One of my favourite bands, a band that I kind of grew up with. And there's some songs that are kind of very nostalgic for me. This was a gift for Christmas, and I've been wanting to see what it's all about. And like I said, because of the Jane Birkin book, I've been really enjoying, or kind of just non-fiction. I think it's definitely one of those genres that you can kind of, oh, it's not even a genre, it's like a huge section. It's definitely a section that you can kind of dismiss because you don't like, you know, a book on quantum physics. But also within non-fiction, there are so many books on other topics that might interest you. Recently I've been really enjoying memoirs and autobiographies, so I think I have a very good chance of enjoying this, but whether I'll get to it, we shall see. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. I always seem to absolutely rush through TBRs because I want to be realistic with myself and set realistic goals, because I don't think that I'm going to be able to get through every single book ever. On average I read about 5 to 6 books a month. These are all the books that I haven't mentioned in this this TBR. I'm excited for every single one of them. I think they could all be 5-star reads, honestly. Lapvona could be one, the Bono one could be, Jane Birkin one basically is going to be, it's just so brilliant to me. Beautiful World could be. Really not sure how I feel about that. I kind of sit on different sides with the 2 previous books that I read by Rooney. Could go either way. And then Addicted to You, my predicted rating is maybe 3.5 stars. We shall see though. I could really enjoy it. I might hate it. I'm kind of thinking with that book that I'm gonna enjoy the books like more as the series goes on, because it's a very long series. You know what we could do? We could read the first line of each of these books. So let's go in order. Lapvona. I remember this one. I think it's The Bandits Came at Easter, or Came Again at Easter, or The Bandits Came Again on Easter. It's kind of an average first line, isn't it? Okay, what is the first line for Beautiful World? A woman sat in a hotel bar watching the door. Gosh, I just dropped it and it's so stunning. These are not hitting. Addicted to You. I wake up. Dude, what is this? Monkey Diaries. I mean, it's diaries, so who knows what it's gonna be. Let's see. In the morning there was a great hassle. I love that. It's just she's writing it as like a little girl, and she's just so dramatic and like over the top of everything. That was a fun one. Okay, Surrender's first line. I was born with an eccentric heart. That wins, in my opinion. He actually did have heart trouble, but he also means it further than that. Right. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see whether I managed to complete any of these books, or you want to hang around for the reading vlog for Beautiful World, then of course you can subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Now's a good time to thank you for 1.5k, so we just hit 1,500 subscribers. I'm genuinely so thankful for it. I did a story on Instagram thanking everybody, and yeah, it's kind of like a minor milestone for most people, but for me, like, I've sat on I sat on like 1,416 for like a month, and then suddenly we started growing again. So to reach this point is just kind of like, it's a significant moment in my channel's kind of growth, the life of my channel. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm very appreciative of it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because that's the way that I can tell that you did enjoy it. Otherwise I have no way of telling if I'm just like speaking words into the ether. No one's receiving them. Well, I see the views, but like, do you like what you see? That's what I'm wondering. And I'll see you on Saturday for another video. Bye.